welcome to the seventh episode of the show, Third Perspective, where we invite people who work with, about human health, whether mental health, spiritual health, physical health, and all sorts of health. So tonight our guest is Easha Patel, and so welcome to the show, Isha. And yeah, if you want, tell us about your background, and we start off by doing that with regards to your work with mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mobin. So, yeah, my name is Easha Patel. I'm the founder of Origin Activation, which is a very powerful energetic healing modality. And I've been in the field of helping people with their spiritual awakening for a little over 5 years now. I've helped over 10,000 people globally to really awaken to themselves and to get clear on what their purpose is, who they want to be in this reality, and to also get from the physical aspect of self out into the spiritual self that we are. So my passion is really helping people diving into that. And I spend a lot of time sharing just how people can really connect to their inner self so that we can live a more fulfilling and quality life on this planet.
Sure. And can you just tell us, does your field more involve like life coaching and improvement in life, or does it involve dealing with like mental health and all the different mental illnesses that people go through, including depression, anxiety, and all that?
Right, it definitely touches upon both of those, but I do sit very much in the spectrum of spiritual mentoring and energy healing. So energy healing is this idea that we have as human beings, more than just the physical body. We actually have the energy field and the energy body. So origin activation deals with helping people to access that energetic space, which in turn does help people, with their mental health and with physical health. And I've seen a lot of people actually even have full body spontaneous healings, by doing this type of work. Because what we do is we help people find the origin or the source of where a lot of these problems are rooted. Now, in my experience of working with thousands of people, what I've discovered is that the majority of physical and emotional pain comes from things that might be traumas in the childhood, or perhaps even generational past life sort of things that are coming in, things that have been passed down through the lineages, things that have come in through belief systems. So we do touch a little bit on epigenetics here as well. And essentially we help people to identify what those blockages are. And when we can, at the energetic layer, get to the root cause of those things, what that does is it allows people to then release and then find that freedom. So the result of that could be, for example, I've had people that have come to me with pneumonia, and then in one session it's been completely cleared. I've had people that have come to me with full body aches and pains, again in one session, completely cleared. I've had people come to me with cancer. That takes a little more than one session. That takes a little bit more ongoing. So, but I definitely help people to find relief and to move forward in the healing journey through things like cancer as well. And then all variety of emotional things, people that have been holding on to anxiety for years and years.
Yeah.
They start doing these meditation practices, they start tapping into the energy field,
Yes.
and it does allow them to release these traumas at a really deep level, which goes, in my opinion, beyond, say, something like talk therapy or even CBT. And I've just had feedback from my clients that I've been working with who have gone and sought, other psychologists or other therapists, and then they've come and used these tools, and they themselves have said, look, this is, really valuable. It's helping them move a lot faster.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, what I've learned is that the energetic layer is something that really does need to be addressed when we're helping people in a really holistic sort of way.
Yeah, that's really yeah, it's I'm sure it has a positive effect on people. And one of my friends in Tasmania, well, I should say acquaintance, because you are not close friends, but he's a life coach. And also I'm following a gentleman in America. His posts are mainly in my language, in Persian, but he also like posts about all that. So it was interesting how you mentioned about pneumonia and cancer, because like as we all know, like mental health and physical health go hand in hand. A lot of physical conditions such as Parkinson's disease eventually leads to like severe anxiety and depression, to the extent that can even make one suicidal. So yeah, some people might know, because these days people don't watch much television, and there are many on social media and on their phones. Isha has done some great work, and she has been interviewed numerous times by various networks. And also, you can follow Isha on social media. She's on Facebook and Instagram, and these are her pages, as you can see in the bottom of the screen. But so you have been interviewed recently by Ticket TV, So can you tell us a bit about that? And then we are gonna watch a few seconds of that as well during our break.
Yeah, I had the privilege of being interviewed by Alana on Ticker TV, who basically asked me about origin activation and how this is helping entrepreneurs with their businesses.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah, that's nice. And yeah, so we are gonna watch a few seconds of that, and then we'll be back.
People are seeking guidance to revive and engage their spiritual selves. Easha Patel is the founder of Origin Activation, helping thousands of spiritual coaches to reach their full potential. Easha joins me live now.
Hi.
Hi, Easha. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's amazing to be here.
Look, tell us, what is a spiritual coach and what are the benefits?
Great question. I think there's a lot of people right now, especially with the pandemic, that are really trying to revive their businesses, and people are focusing a lot on strategy and money and, the things
So
that we
Isha, can you
think
please tell us about your qualification? Where did you graduate from, and how long have you been working in this field of like mental health and energy and spiritual healing?
Right. So mental health isn't something that I have positioned myself as a line of expertise. I've been on a couple of mental health summits just to, support the people, but I don't go around promoting myself as a mental health expert, and I don't feel qualified to do that. In saying that though, my qualifications actually come more through academic backgrounds. So my first degree was in electrical engineering. So I graduated a few years ago from that. And then I did a master's of teaching when I finished that. But this line of work that I'm in now is something that I actually fell into quite by chance, and it happened as a result of a massive spiritual awakening in 2015. From there, a lot of what I teach and what I actually put out into the world are things that I've received myself through my own meditation practice, and I've actually gone and created the accredited modality that I teach. So what I teach, Origin Activation, is my own creation. I founded it myself, and I had it internationally recognized in 2017. So essentially, no one qualified me. I created the qualification, and now I qualify others on how to do my modality. So I do have at the moment about 12 facilitators in Australia that are now doing this type of work and helping other people to, I guess, awaken spiritually and find new ways to work with the energy field that then does have an effect on the physical, mental, emotional areas of life as well.
Great, Isha. So it's good that you're collaborating with 12 people to help people, because I personally believe that teamwork always works better than individual work, and that's why today's interview was actually originally, because I don't like to do everything myself, so it was originally meant to be done by Dr. Saman Mirkozemi, but unfortunately he was working today, so I'm doing it myself. But like, as people who have been following me in the past 10 years on social media, they know that I always try to involve other people, which may be hard because people are not always available. But yeah, so I was gonna talk about your posts on social media. They are really good inspirational quotes, and they empower people. So in particular, I would like to talk about the one that you talked about, us making an effort to rewire our thoughts. And I had heard this from another person, that each person, of course, we need like everybody, if they go through crisis, they need help of like health professionals, but each person, like as they say in Persian, can be their own best doctor. So what do you think one can do themselves, of course, besides from getting help from professionals, to rewire their own thoughts? And this is not just about like mental health illnesses, but just rewiring the thought to create a positive atmosphere in the mind for personal improvement, progress, and success.
Right. I think the mental health of a person is so vital to creating healthy life, healthy body, and also
Sure.
just a healthy outcome and quality of life. Now, if you're walking around all day and your internal mind is constantly telling you, Isha, you're shit, you suck, you're walking around with guilt and shame and like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And you have all these negative self-talk, that's going to affect the way that you live your life, and ultimately when those thoughts build up over time, that can definitely lead to anxiety. It can lead to depression. It can lead to
Exactly.
extremely low self-worth, and essentially doesn't allow you to accomplish the things that you're here to live in your life. And so I do find a lot of people who do have big visions and missions in this planet, but their mental self chatter is preventing them from actually living the life that they're here to live. So when it comes to creating and cultivating a positive and healthy mindset, the first and foremost key step is always in the awareness. Because if you're not aware that these are the things that you're telling yourself, then you can't make a change.
Sure.
Right. So you have to first have a level of awareness to first recognize and to be brutally honest with oneself to say, hang on, this is what I've been telling myself. Because your voice in your mind is always the loudest, right? No matter what anyone else says, your voice is the loudest voice in your own head. And even if that voice has come from others, if you've grown up with parents that have told you things that you can't do this, and what are you doing with your life, and whatever they might say, I don't know, parents can say all sorts of things. If you have pressure from family, if you have pressure from society that is telling you these things about yourself, what happens is, as a child, you can take that to be truth. Right, because children, we believe everything that our parents tell us. And so if we get told as a child, oh, you're dumb, you're never going to amount to anything, like say a teacher told you that when you're a child, right? I hope to God no teacher says that, but these things get said, and we pick up these things in passing. Other things that can happen are like if you have siblings and then your parent says, oh, this is the smart child and this is the dumb child, or whatever, like whatever comparison I mean. And children actually take that on to be truth, because we don't know that we can actually change the way that we perceive ourselves. So when you have picked up self-talk from the world around you, whether it's coming from the people or whether it's just coming from an internal lack of self-esteem and self-belief, what that can do is have a very detrimental effect on one's life. So the first step is to actually get clear. And if you really want to do the work, this is where you go down the process of then uncovering where these thoughts are coming from, where these beliefs are coming from, and to recognize that you can change them. Because if you've spent 40 years of your life thinking that you're stupid and you're never going to amount to anything, and that, other people in the world are allowed to be rich and you're not, or whatever beliefs that you have, the first step is recognizing it's just a belief. It's just a thought. And that every belief is changeable, and that every belief is a choice. So the second you recognize you have choice in this, you now become the empowered creator of your life, and you don't need to listen to the voices either inside or outside your own head. And now suddenly you can rewrite your story.
And like you said, we like our thoughts makes a difference. And I was reading, so I follow a lot of positive quotes, including your quotes and quote of other people, and I can't remember where, but I'm definitely read it on social media that there was a quote that said, if you constantly criticize your children, they would not stop loving you, but they would stop loving themselves. And then my mom also studies a lot of stuff in Persian and social media, and there was a story about the person who invented electricity, Thomas Edison, and he invented the light bulb, and he invented the video camera and all that. And then once at a school, the school actually wrote a letter to the mother of Thomas Edison and said, your child has got some problems and we are gonna take him out of school. And then the mother read the letter and cried. And then when Thomas Edison asked, because he was only year 1 or 2 primary school, asked what was in the letter, why are you crying? She said that, oh, they have said in the letter, your child is too good to be in this school. Like, he doesn't need to be at a school. You can do home education, and he already knows a lot. So he has to do home education in more advanced level education. And then Thomas Edison became who he is. And then years later, after the mom passed away and he was going through, his mom's files, he saw that letter, and then he shared that story with other people. And unfortunately, there are negative people in this world who love to criticize people either behind them or in front of them. And I'm not a health professional yet, but I made a series of 4 fair, wise, and simple steps to deal with negative people that people are seeing on the screen now. And of course, and I was also reading in a book called Mind Accelerator that when it comes to negative people, what people tell you, even if you don't believe what they tell you, it will echo in your mind and will change your self-esteem, your self-perception. So just that's why it said, like in the book, it said eliminate the negative people from your life. And so they say a lie said so many times eventually is perceived as truth in people's minds, which unfortunately is what a lot of even political leaders of the world have done in the past and present. But Isha, so we are gonna close the show soon, just because all our shows on social media don't run for more than 15 or 20 minutes, just because we are not on satellite and people on social media, either on Facebook or Instagram, they don't watch, if something is too long, they don't watch. So that's why I like to, keep things as brief and short as possible. And I know there is a lot to talk about when it comes to this thing, and we can talk for hours. But is there any last point that you would like to share with the viewers? We have got about thousands of followers, mostly Iranians in Australia, but there are people of other cultures and people in other countries as well that follow us. So in the last minute or two, what was the best advice or anything you can give to the people, especially the youth, the young generation and teenagers?
Right, great question. I think my final piece of advice I would like to give is to remind people that you have a choice in this reality. Nothing that we create in this world is outside of our capacity to be fully empowered. And as much as, the people outside of you, they're always going to say things to you. They're always going to try and put you in a box, and they're always going to try and tell you to be a certain way. But the second that you recognize that you are the person that's creating your reality, and that you have a choice over your thoughts and your beliefs and the energy that you put out into the world, that can shift your whole reality. So when you understand that the positive vibrations that you put out into this world are what's attracting your reality, suddenly you're not a victim to life anymore, and you can actually start creating from a place where you become the writer of your own life instead of letting life write itself around you.
Beautifully said. And also, I'm going to close the program by showing two quotes about ego. So like you said, outside forces are important, but Shoghi Effendi said that the main battle in life is against self and against ego. However, we don't become we can never fully get rid of ego, because we can never be fully selfless. And that's also in one of the quotes I'm going to show. Thank you so much for joining us, Isha, and we'll hopefully see you next time. And thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.
فرق بین دو غصه یک بدن